What about those who block the roads? At their own whims and caprice, they want to throw a party, they just block the road.
So that has been banned long ago. That has been banned long ago.
But it still happens in some areas.
If you have, because that is banned. There's even a law banning that. You can't do parties on the road. If you are caught, apart from, that is even, you are, there is a serious punishment for that.
What's the state of those who collect refuse? Because in some places, it looks like sometimes, I don't know, if they go on strike, you see heaps of refuse, and you ask yourself what exactly is happening.
It depends. We've not had cases of people going on strike, because we have, the way we organize is that LOMA is the organization that gives people license to collect refuse, and LOMA also pays them, or in some cases you are given what we call
is it under your ministry?
Concession. LOMA is under my ministry. We have almost about 6 agencies now under my ministry: LASA, LOMA, LASPARK, which is the new agency regulating LASEPA, and 2 others. So, and those agencies, we supervise them. In fact, one of the things we've done successfully in Lagos, which I think everybody's, is now copying, is that we have delegated powers to our agencies. So we have separated policy making from implementation, so that gives the ministry, a latitude to monitor and supervise, and also call them to order, so that they can conform to our policies. That we've done in the last 8 years or so. That's why you see us creating new agencies. The LASPARK is also, the ministry has been doing the landscaping and education on its own. So we now felt that, okay, we have reached a stage where we need to create a structure, a management for it. Otherwise, we just lose control, and the ministry will not be able to monitor and supervise again, just like we have done with LOMA, where LOMA is in control of solid waste management, where LASEPA is in charge of pollution control, where LASA is in charge of cityscape, in terms of where you put your banners, where you put your outdoor advertisement structures, and so on. Those are the things I think we've done over the years. We also focus on wastewater. Now, we have an agency for wastewater.
It seems you have a lot of agencies under the Ministry of Environment. Are all of this under the Ministry of Environment?
Yeah.
That's a whole host. How do you keep your tabs on every single one of them?
Oh, we have a meeting regularly. We are all the head of agencies. We meet at least once a week, where we look at what are the problems and so on, which they want the government. Most of them are almost autonomous. We have chief executives who run them. We don't interfere in their internal affairs. It's only on the issue of, that's why they are very efficient.
What reminds us?
In fact, I must say that even LOMA has even become a consultant to Sierra Leonean government now. It's now consulting for Sierra Leonean government. I'm telling you. Even for other states, given what LOMA has done over the years.
Today,
and I think it's the best way. That's the way they do it in United Kingdom, United States, because you have to give agencies the powers to do it. That's why most governments feel, because you can't be a policy maker and also be the one.
I was going to ask you how you relate with, because it involves the environment, and it can be very tricky. What happens in state A can affect what happens in state B. So how do you relate with other, say, ministries of environment in other states?
Well, I think we relate very well in terms of exchanging ideas, in terms of cooperation. Sometimes many come to us. Many of them have visited our agencies, particularly LASA and LOMA in particular. So are the 2 agencies that most other states visit, to learn one or 2 things, pick one or 2.
Quickly before you go.
Just like what they are doing with LASMA too. In other states, they've also copied LASMA.
Sorry, let's just stop you there quickly before you go. Tell us about the flood control, because this morning we talked about flood, the menace in some parts of the country, Abuja, Lokoja, Edo states, and some other places that have been cut off by flooding. What are you doing in regards to that? Because we know that for some time now there's been some kind of, let's use the word, relative peace in terms of flooding in Lagos. Are we likely to see any kind of upsurge in the days to come?
Well, I don't ever say it's serious flooding, just as they are witnessing in the upstates of Nigeria as well. Maybe because partly because we are not going to experience as much rain as we experienced earlier in the year, and secondly, because of the mechanism we put in place. As you must have seen, from the beginning of the year, we've done a lot of work, a lot of care, and we constantly clear the channels. And I can tell you in Lagos that even if it rains, you will see a lot of. It doesn't mean that they will not flood in Lagos, but the most important thing is that few hours after the rain stops. The water dissipates.
So
that's the most important thing, because that's what people don't realize. In most places, you just see when it rains heavily for 6 hours, 8 hours, automatically it must flood, because Lagos is coastal and the water table is very high. So for that reason, the roads will flood normally. But give it 2 hours, the water will disappear, because automatically, when it rains heavily, the ocean rises, the lagoon cannot discharge into the ocean, so our canals too cannot discharge into the lagoon.
But you
so
should consider, Akwa Ibom State is doing something, I think they call it underground drainage system. Aren't you going to consider that option?
Well,
also?
I don't want us to, there's a lot to be learned from Akwa Ibom, I must consider. But don't forget that you have to look at your topography.
Okay.
If you look at the topography of Akwa Ibom, particularly Uyo, also, don't forget that Uyo is still a virgin land. Lagos has been built up. To start constructing underground channels, to me, it's going to cause a lot of dislocation. So maybe you can begin to do it in the virgin areas like Badagry, particularly where the water table is very low. So to do an underground system in an area, low-lying area like when you're moving to Lekki and other areas, it's going to be a bit difficult.
All right, then.
More expensive.